This episode is sponsored by CuriosityStream and Nebula, where you can watch thousands of great documentaries and videos like these without ads, together just $15 a year. Every 2 or sometimes not years, the world grabs popcorn, gathers around the TV, and smugly claims victory to the incredible athletic achievements of other people who live in the same country. Kids from every corner of the earth watch in amazement as Ryan Lochte sets the 200-meter world record, imagining themselves one day saying such profound things as, "The reason why I love swimming is because racing, and to travel is sometimes better to arrive." Now, having goals is good, and if you're in Little League, you can stop this video now knowing that hard work pays off, Santa is real, and the YouTube comment dislike button actually does something. Truth be told, at the level of sports 99% of us ever play, hard work really does pay off. But when it comes to the elite, best of the best, sports aren't fair. Not at all. Sorry kid, but unless your name is Alexander or Sergey, you will never be as fast or strong or nimble. And that's okay. Take the fastest runner in the world, Usain Bolt, for example. What makes him such an insanely good runner is, among other things, a freakishly high proportion of what are called fast-twitch muscle fibers, which allow his legs to move with far greater force than ours. Everyone is born with a different share of fast-twitch fibers, which produce better sprinters, and slow, which are ideal for long distances. And although some can be trained one way over time, much of this ratio is determined by genetics. Now, am I saying Usain Bolt was born the fastest runner on the planet? Despite his name, no. Neither am I saying he hasn't worked incredibly hard to get there. Genetic and environmental factors are necessary but not sufficient by themselves to win a gold medal. You also need plenty of that hard work thing. But let's be honest, you could be teleported back to your teenage years, be given an unlimited budget, all the time in the world, and you'd still never run as fast. And that's what sets elite sports apart. Sure, we all start with different advantages and disadvantages. Some high school football players are taller or wider, but in theory, anyone could become the best player on the team given enough time and effort. At the 1% of the 1%, however, the point of extreme diminishing returns to practice, winners and losers are decided by a fraction of a second, or a centimeter or two. Here, those small differences make all the difference. Every sport has its own version of fast-twitch muscles. Bone length is important for weightlifting. For baseball, eyesight. An extreme example is this 3-time Olympic skiing gold medalist, a Finnish man with a mutation causing an overproduction of red blood cells, allowing him to win the 15-kilometer race by an unheard of 40 seconds. Even this, though, undersells the advantages some athletes have over others, because it's not just genetic, but also economic, geographic, parental, and so on. Think about what it would take to make sports 100% fair. Of course, you'd start by giving everyone the same equipment, training, etc., but then you'd have to make sure everyone's parents were equally supportive, everyone had the same amount of free time, and eventually you'd be correcting for things like palm size or number of siblings. At the point where we could truly certify this game is fair, the only things deciding the winner would be random, like in which direction the sun was shining that day. Now I know what you're thinking. Whoa, slow down, Speed Demon. Sure, height, muscles, parents, and environment can all help or hurt your odds of becoming a star, but hard work still matters, so we should at least try to make things as fair as reasonably possible. And that's, as usual, where you'd be wrong. The problem is that what we consider fair and unfair are pretty arbitrary. Why is possessing a physical advantage like a high number of fast-twitch muscles fair, while taking steroids to accomplish the same thing not? In both cases, the advantage is unearned and leads to the same end result. We spend an ungodly amount of time and energy trying to make professional sports fair, but even after successfully plugging every steroid loophole, we'd still face a hopelessly leaky game. The real problem isn't that our endless desire to keep up the facade of fairness doesn't work, but that it isn't worthwhile. The Olympics and major leagues are fun to watch for reasons that have nothing to do with fairness. The politics, the drama, the storytelling. And if we admit that, they might be a whole lot less stressful. Professional sports are just as much a contest as a mechanism for discovering all the rare and otherwise invisible differences between people, a way to appreciate the strange and extreme variations possible in the human species. This very wide spectrum is exactly what makes sports so fun to watch, and yet fundamentally at odds with any notion of fair. So what exactly should we do about all this? Change rules, allow steroids, calculate scores differently? No, probably none of the above. It's more like reframing the way we see elite sports and their purpose. Sound like a useless observation with no practical application? Welcome to philosophy. You're welcome. You were lucky enough to be born during a time of cheap, high-quality, and plentiful entertainment. Why not make use of that natural advantage by watching the great original series on our streaming platform, Nebula? There's the logistics of D-Day, in which Brian from Real Engineering breaks down the invasion one dramatic episode at a time, Alex Goes Bananas, where 19-year-old Technicality humorously discovers pop culture from before he was born, and the Showmakers podcast, in which Sam from Wendover Productions and Brian from Real Engineering interview me about this very channel, to name just a few. Nebula is like the expansion pack for YouTube. You can watch all these videos 1 week before YouTube and without ads, along with thousands of great documentaries on CuriosityStream. A good place to start is this CuriosityStream documentary, The Joy of Winning, which explains the mathematics of getting what you want in life. Sign up with a link in the description and you'll get an email with access to Nebula.